Welcome back to the Real Pastors Movie Show. It is Monday. That means we have an episode for you. And do we have an episode in store for you all? Oh, there I am. Hi. We are traveling to a galaxy far, far away today. This is the Star Wars episode. And we will have our very first special guest today. So, as you watch, feel free to comment along. Let us know your history with Star Wars, your thoughts on Star Wars. What are your favorite Star Wars movies? And just what do you like about all things Star Wars? Feel free to comment, subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to be alerted when we do a show, you should do that. Hit the alert button. Doesn't cost you a thing. The alert don't cost a thing, or to subscribe. So we're gonna bring in one of my best good buddies now, Efren. Welcome to the show. Hello.
So, how's it going?
It is going well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good. Glad to see we have our Star Wars figures behind us to get ready for this good thing.
Oh,
This fantastic topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that we get to do this and talk about some Star Wars, because Star Wars, especially in the past, how many years now? I guess for a while, since the prequel started, has always been a topic and has always been something that will always be debated and talked about. So,
yes. We might as well go ahead and do it. We're early on in our show history. We might as well go ahead and do the Star Wars episode to go ahead and make people mad.
Yeah.
And,
or make people feel empowered because, hey, someone agrees with me.
Yes.
We'll see how it goes.
Yes. One or the other is going to happen. It's the fact. It is a fact.
Right off the bat here, Bubble T says hi.
Hello, Bubble T.
How are you?
Cool name.
Yes, very cool name.
Sounds like a Star Wars character.
Yes, nice little,
what
was that? Avatar as well.
Oh,
cool.
yes. Okay. Well, we got Daniel here. I have never seen a single Star Wars film and never will. Okay.
Right.
That's
enough.
your right to be lame.
That's right. But you got to respect him for this. Spaceballs.
I do respect that. I do respect that. Yeah.
Spaceballs is in the collection.
Daniel, I didn't know you were
Because that thing is
Druish. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So good to hear from you, Daniel.
Yes, good to hear from you. Respect for Spaceballs.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Like I said, it's in the collection.
So
it's
good.
in there. I probably need to go back and watch that as well.
Pizza the Hut.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice. Bill Pullman's in that.
Yeah. So, but before we get too far deep into this, let's talk about our special guest, who it is. You
know.
tell who it is? You didn't tell him who it is? Sorry.
I just said we would have a special guest, and you know what? It was our first guest,
Yeah, it's your first guest.
and
So,
we might as well go ahead and set the bar high. This is the guest of all guests. We have the man, Denzil Laughren. I can never pronounce his last name.
What do I
Laughren.
say? Laughren. Like, that's how you spell it.
He's got a nice strong H in there. Laughren.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good
to see you, buddy.
Whenever people try to ask me how you spell your name, I say it's L-A-U Phlegm.
Yeah. So I was pronouncing it right. That's good to know.
Laughren.
Yeah.
Well, hello. Yes, I am honored to be not only your first guest, but a guest on a day like this, such
Ooh,
as
big
Star
day.
Wars.
Big day.
Yeah.
I'm very excited
Talking
to talk
about Star Wars.
Talking about Star Wars. Very big day. And so glad to have Denzil here, because really, Denzil is a huge Star Wars nut as well.
Absolutely.
And so maybe we should go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Kind of our history and background. We'll let our guest go first. So Denzil,
Yes.
go right ahead. Tell us
So
your
history
history.
and background of Star Wars. So, well, I am younger than you guys by not a lot, but enough to where you guys were in high school when the three prequels came out. I, however, was just a kid when they came out, so I watched the prequels, or not the prequels, the original trilogy. I watched the original trilogy quite a lot when I was a kid. But I can honestly not remember the last time that I actually watched it since being on my own or being an adult.
Okay.
But I do remember when the prequels came out to theaters. I remember seeing it on my birthday, June 29th, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in theaters, like right after it came out. I remember seeing it in theaters with my parents on my birthday.
Oh, it's a good
So
birthday.
that one has a lot of special memories with it. Episode 2, I remember seeing that on VHS when I was a kid with my parents, and I remember seeing The Phantom Menace also as a kid on VHS.
Nice.
The last 3, of course, they were all in theaters. I saw one of them with you guys.
Yeah, that was a good night.
It was a lot of fun. So
It's nice to Efren, it's nice to have someone who is younger than us who experienced VHSs as much as we did.
Yep.
You know,
especially because I still have the original trilogy VHS sitting in my office.
That you do.
Thank you, Dad. Because of you, I have that. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have that.
Speaking of dads, Darth Vader's in the building. There he is.
Boom. Ultimate dad.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Debatable.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
A little rocky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool. Do you find that you like Revenge of the Sith more? And we'll get to that later because of the circumstances of when you saw it.
That has a little bit to play into it, yeah. And
Yeah.
it just because it plays so much into the memories of my childhood and like how much time I spent like as a kid playing with Star Wars action figures and like mimicking that trilogy as a kid. I think that plays into like where it will end up in my ranking.
Oh, right on.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I find myself doing that.
Yeah. And for those of you who might be a little confused because you see Gary and I looking
Yeah, I'm trying
back
not
and
to. I'm
forth.
trying.
So here's the thing. We have this set up because we're already here at the
Yeah.
church where we work at.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go live from here because we had a free luncheon and stuff. So we're actually sitting in the same room.
Yes.
But, we're just still doing our thing. So
I don't know if I should look at the camera or look at Denzil or look at you. I don't know what to do. I'm just.
well, you can do all three if you look at your computer, but whatever, man.
That's true. That's true. Okay,
So,
I'm learning.
yes. So so Gary, how about you? How about your history?
Okay,
man?
so my history with Star Wars is a little different. I came into it a little bit later in life, but I remember my dad was dating a lady named Amanda, very sweet lady. She had a son named Brian, and he was a Star Wars just nut. Loved Star Wars. I had never seen it before. And they came over to the house, and he brought all of his toys, and he brought A New Hope with him on VHS, and we watched it, and I thought it's one of the coolest things I've seen, And but where it gets different and where it gets a little odd is a few weeks later, I was like, I want to see more of these movies. I want to know more about Star Wars because I thought, one was like Han Solo, the Millennium Falcon, all that was like the coolest stuff ever. All of it's going, I want to see more of this story. I had heard about it. I watched A New Hope, then Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
I didn't realize I was doing that. He brought over Return of the Jedi a few weeks later, and we watched it. And it was after that I realized I had missed Empire Strikes Back. And so
Very important.
Yeah, I know.
Movie,
Yeah,
actually.
I was in third grade. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember being in third grade, like, okay, yeah, and I was like, why he didn't have that movie, but he, we just wanted to watch things blow up and all that stuff.
Right.
So later in life, I watched Empire Strikes Back and appreciated it very much, and just thought it was just a really cool movie, and all the stuff. And a lot of people were, like Luke. He's their hero, and rightfully so. I love Luke Skywalker, but Han Solo was my guy. He was one of my favorite movie characters, and so just kind of following his character in the movies. And then later on, I waited in line at the movie theater with that same guy to watch The Phantom Menace. We stood on the sidewalk all the way down the side of the building. I remember I got checked out of school one day. My dad picked me up and he said, "Hey, you and Brian are going to go see Star Wars." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And we waited, we watched it, and as a kid, I thought it was great. And then proceeded to see all the prequels in the theater, and then, and then just always liked the movies. I don't know a whole lot about all the, mythos and all the other stuff that goes behind it. I know the movies. I don't know. I've never read the comics or the books or anything like that. There's an
extended
animated
universe for you.
No. I just know the movies, and I've always enjoyed them. And I saw all three of the new trilogy in the theater, including Rise of Skywalker with you guys. So
What a fun day. By the way.
that was
That was a fun day.
that was.
We'll talk about Rise of Skywalker later, but
We
what a
will.
fun day.
We will. Yeah.
Because after that day, we also went to Cece's
We did.
feast.
Yep.
Then we had 30 minutes to do so because they were about to close.
That was my last time at CC's before
Same.
the world
Same.
went down.
Same.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Back to Star Wars.
yeah, that's right. Let's keep things happy.
Star Wars was always like, whenever there's a Star Wars movie coming out, I like circled it and was like, I'm gonna go see that in the theater.
Yep.
And ever since Phantom Menace, I saw every single one except for in the episodic trilogy. I didn't see Solo in the theater. I think it's the only one I didn't see in the theater. But it was can't miss stuff for me.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, I ended up seeing Solo in the theater because I remember there was nothing else out, and Katie was just like, "You need to go to the movies. You need to get out. Just go watch Solo." And I was like, "I don't know if I want to watch it. Just go watch it." I was like, "All right, fine." So I just went and watched it. Which wasn't as bad as everyone said it was.
No.
But it just
No,
wasn't. Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, we're not talking about those movies.
No.
It wasn't the best.
No, yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
But, so for me, kind of like I alluded to earlier, it started, and like I guess most of my stuff, my dad was just, he loved it when he saw it back in the day. And he loved, because he went to the theater to watch it just like a lot of people. So he bought the movies on VHS, and he was like, all right, you have to watch this. And I remember, we took 3 nights over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, we did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think is what we did. And we just watched one a night. And then so after that, I just got hooked. And anything Star Wars that came out after that, anything at all, like I was all about it. If I saw anything Star Wars, I wanted to be able to be a part of it. And so like when they started making video games for the N64 and N64 and then like Sega Dreamcast stuff, dude, I bought it all. I didn't care. I was like, I want these. Like I had to have it. So I was very, very excited. But I was actually telling Denzil this earlier. I have to tell you this. So that's such a great story. But now it's tainted a little bit because I was talking to my dad the other day. And I was telling him about like this story, like hey, we're talking about Star Wars, it's gonna be great. My dad goes, I really don't like Star Wars. I was like, what, Dad? No, like you're the one who got me into it. Me and my sister, like we are obsessed with Star Wars because of you, because of your guidance and your great parental ways of doing things. Like, how did you do this to me? And he was just like, no, of course I liked it. I liked the effects, I liked the audio. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't understand. I don't understand anything that's going on. I just think it looks cool. I was like, Dad,
that's great.
My memories are tainted.
That would be like my dad calling me tonight and be like, I never really liked baseball. I never really got into it.
I was like, no, Dad, no. So I'm just like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. So, hey, Jim, how's it going? Saying hi to me.
Hello, Jim.
Jim, I have a question for you guys. Did you know, and spoiler alert,
spoiler alert.
Did you guys know about the twist in Empire?
No, I did not.
Before going into it, did you know?
No.
I knew that. I had it ruined for me on the school bus one time.
What?
Yeah. A kid told me his name was Joey.
First split, now this?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There's a kid named Joey. He told me, he was like, Darth is Luke's father. And I was like, no, he's not. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. And he's like, he totally will. And so I knew that going in.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, like I don't really remember the last time I watched like the original trilogy all the way through, but I do remember my number one criteria. My mom used to always get aggravated at me because when she said, Denzil, let's watch a movie together, I'd always pick one of the Star Wars movies.
Nice.
She's like, can you please pick something else?
Yeah.
So she would always get aggravated at me and picking one. But I always remember picking The Empire Strikes Back because on the cover of it was the AT-AT walkers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the giant walkers. Like, that's so cool. I want to watch that one.
Speaking of AT-ATs, I need to take a moment to make fun of one of our coworkers.
Please.
Christy, the children's minister at the crossing. She'll probably be watching this later. But I was leaving earlier and I had the Falcon with me. It's back there. And she was like, I'm taking this to do on our Star Wars episode. And she goes, I wish I would have known. My kids have an at I could have brought. And even Dom was like, we were both like, you mean AT-AT? So I got the Falcon back here.
That's a shame.
That's true, yeah. But as a game,
but
they have an at. So
AT-AT.
But yeah.
That is a shame.
My daughter, she says, because she started noticing every morning when The Mandalorian came out, like I was watching that and other stuff for Rise of Skywalker, and to this day she says, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. You always want to watch Star Wars. But then she'll say, when can I watch Star Wars? So
kids, they think they're slick.
I know, but she wants to watch it with me. I was like,
come on, Jen,
I told her she had to wait.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta wait.
So we would love to hear some of you guys too in the comments or whatever. Just let us know, like, what's your history, like.
Hopefully, some people have better history than Daniel.
Yeah, I'm saying that's just ridiculous. Or Jim, he commented before we got started. It's been a long time. Yeah. Sorry, Jim. Like, y'all need to get back into it. You can't leave something like Star Wars be a long time. See, things are a little fresher for me because I've been going through it with my oldest one. Because she's like, I want to watch it. It's like, okay, now you're of age enough to where like some of the aliens won't scare you and give you nightmares. So okay, we can watch it now. And so we've been watching them. We've gotten the original trilogy, the prequels, and we've gotten Force Awakens. Now we got the last 2 to go.
Nice.
And then we also watched Rogue One. We did watch that as well.
Nice.
Which she liked that a lot.
Yeah. She's what, 3rd grade? Going to the 4th grade?
She's going to 3rd grade.
Going to 3rd grade? Yeah, that's what I told Lainey. I was like, when you're Sayla's age, you can watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
Yeah, so 2nd grade. That's what she does.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll tell my kids the same thing.
There you
when
go.
I have them.
Yeah.
You have something to tell us?
No? Some point? No?
Not today.
Not today. Get behind me, Satan. So, all right. So let's go ahead and dig into go ahead and maybe start making some enemies or some friends.
Oh boy.
We'll see how this goes. Let's go ahead and start ranking.
Be very interesting.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start ranking our movies, and then we'll start talking about some other things that we want to talk about. But let's go ahead and start ranking these things and see where this goes, because this is where things could get interesting, and maybe the comments will get a little spicy because they'll hate us or they'll agree with us, or maybe we'll start a feud and some friendships. We'll see what happens.
I have my list.
Oh,
I need to bust my list out too.
Oh man, usually I'm the guy. I'm the one with the paper stuff. I got a phone over here. What in the world? We switch roles.
Different times.
Are we doing from least? I think
That's
we should
what-
go from least favorite to most favorite.
That's
from
what I was
the bottom.
thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what
Bottoms
he
at the
said,
top. Yeah.
That sounds good. So we'll start with least favorite, and then we'll go. But before we do that, I did forget this. So in the description on YouTube, it should be on Facebook as well, is a link to Denzil's YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
So make sure to check that out. Give him a subscribe, because Denzil does some great work.
Very good.
Gary and I have actually been in some of his awesome and hilarious videos. And Denzil does just some really great stuff, and we really love what he does. So check it out. You will
Master
not be
behind the
disappointed.
camera, Sir Denzil here.
That's
That's right. I do my best.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a creative channel than anything.
Yeah.
Definitely not any discussion, things like this. So I'm glad to be on a channel for once that actually has like some sort of discussion. Whereas before on my channel, it's just like me and my camera. All right, go into the store. Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So so check it out. A lot of good stuff on there. And if you want to laugh, make sure to check out some of his lip sync videos.
Oh yeah.
Or his COVID-19.
Yeah.
Huh?
Those were a big hit last
Yeah,
summer.
that was a big hit last summer. COVID-19.
COVID-19. It was right at the beginning
handshakes.
of all this. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
That was
And
great.
and here's Jim. He said he was talking to Harry and Savannah, who are my god kids. They've never seen Star Wars, and I was told I was a bad parent because they never saw one. I would agree. That's bad parenting. So there's that. So and it doesn't surprise me that Harry and Savannah that they said that. So that's pretty awesome. So we will go ahead and get started, and of course we'll let our guests go first.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll just do least favorite to best, and maybe just a brief explanation on why it is ranked this way. So go ahead, my man.
All right, so do we want to go through the whole list, or do we want to do just one at a time, going from least favorite to most favorite?
Why don't we just do five, like the first
Yeah,
five, and then we'll go around and then we'll come back around to the top. How about
All right,
that?
Yeah, we'll call
so
it.
from the first five, from least favorite to most favorite. Least favorite at the very bottom is episode 9.
Okay.
The next one is episode 8. And then it goes 6, 5, and 4.
Okay. Wait, so can you
So-
say the titles of them? Because I forget.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going back and forth, I kind of forget, so my bad.
So episode 9 is The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that's your least.
Right,
That's
okay.
my least favorite.
Okay.
Right.
Episode 8 was the second one of the third trilogy. Can't remember the
Last
name of it.
Jedi.
Last Jedi. Thank you. So Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, and then episode 6, which I think is The Empire Strikes Back. Is that correct? I think
Fourth, that's five.
that's 5.
Yeah.
6 is Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, then Empire Strikes Back, and then New Hope.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So-
I see.
Okay.
So the original trilogy is right there in the middle, 4, 5, and 6. Those are not at the top of my list. They're right there in the middle, but they're not my least favorite either. The last 2 of the third trilogy, those are my least favorite movies.
Gotcha.
And I blame that, like I said earlier in the video, I said that it's been forever since I've seen 4, 5, and 6, but they played such a big part in my childhood that I couldn't put them as my least favorite for saying like I hadn't seen them forever. I don't know them. But episode 8 and 9, those were my least favorite just because of the way they ended, and the storytelling, and the aspects of them that brought an end to an era. I guess I didn't like the way they ended very much at all.
Okay.
Episode 8, I feel like you could have just not had at all. Like, okay. Episode 8 was
Last Jedi.
That's
Last
it.
Jedi.
Okay. Yeah.
Or is there?
You think you know someone,
You think you do?
and then all of a sudden,
All of a sudden they stab you in the back. That's just kind of what happens.
But then, like episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, I just wasn't a fan of how they ended it. How they brought back Emperor Palpatine. They said that he somehow survived.
My boy. Sorry.
Like he was thrown down a pit.
Yeah.
He was on like one of those TV carts. It's like the substitute teacher TV coming in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I did not like the fact that they brought Emperor Palpatine back, and I blame that on Episode 8 because the director for Episode 8 and The Last Jedi, they kind of did away with the main person of that trilogy, with the main villain of that trilogy, the Supreme Leader Snoke. They killed him in the Last Jedi. So Rise of Skywalker kind of had nothing to go off of. So I think Episode 9 is my least favorite because of Episode 8.
Right. That's understandable.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go next since or do you want to keep our little circle?
It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
All right, fine. I'll go next. And so for mine, we'll see. I'm gonna bust out my paper here. So for mine, my least favorite, and I do get crap for this, and I don't care. My least favorite is Attack of the Clones, Episode 2. I can't stand that movie. Even when I went back and watched it single, I was like, this movie's so boring. I can't stand it.
I don't like sand.
Oh my gosh.
Gets
So I can't stand that. So above that, so now I guess at 8, whatever. I'm just gonna say above that. Above that would go Rise of Skywalker. So that's why I put that there, because that mainly because I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, it wasn't bad, it was fun. And then when I watched it 2 more times, I was like, I don't know, I guess I got too much time to think about things. So I put that there, and we'll discuss some of this later. Then after that, then Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Above Rise of Skywalker, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then Force Awakens. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gotta count. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. So then Force Awakens, and then I put Last Jedi above Force Awakens. So already, I disagree with this man right over here. So that's already been done there. But so that's where it's at. So Attack of the Clones is the bottom for me. Rise of Skywalker is next, then Phantom Menace, then Force Awakens, then Last Jedi. Which, as you can see there, kind of the theme is you do have the Disney trilogy.
Yeah.
Kind of towards the bottom there, but I don't know how different some of that would be. So.
Well, allow me to continue the disagreement.
Oh man, there we go.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start here. My least favorite, Efren, I'm right there with you. Attack of the Clones. Even as a kid in the theater, I thought this movie was just boring. I don't think I've seen it. I've seen it maybe once or twice since it came out. Yeah, didn't care for Attack of the Clones. Phantom Menace behind that, above that, at number 8. I loved it when I saw it in the theater, rewatched it later, and just, it's got the fight at the end, the battle at the end is probably the best part to me. Revenge of the Sith, so there you go, my bottom 3 is the prequels. Number 6, I got Rise of Skywalker. Very similar to me in how I felt about Phantom Menace. When I walked out of the theater loving Phantom Menace, rewatched it, every time I rewatch Rise of Skywalker, I like it less and less. Yeah. And then at number 5, I got The Force Awakens. So yeah, Force Awakens right there.
So that's what we have so far. And what were your Denzil? I forgot.
So it was Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, as my least favorite.
Right.
Episode 8, The Last Jedi, as my second to least favorite. Episode 6, The Last Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
And then number 5, Empire Strikes Back. And then next one up is New Hope. Episode 4.
Gotcha. So we do. So it is kind of like, so we have one guy whose original trilogy is in the bottom. Mine, the new trilogy is in the bottom, and yours,
the prequels.
The prequels are at the bottom. So this is quite.
Three very different.
This is riveting.
This is quite a. This is quite.
You guys are in the same boat as having the Clone Wars in your.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so we have that. We have Rise of Skywalker pretty low. Well, I guess you have low, so we got agreed on that. So, I guess just to kind of like maybe dig into it a little bit more, I just like, because I remember thinking like with Attack of the Clones, like this is the whole, like I said, it was just boring. I guess more real Star Wars fan or dig deeper fans. I don't know. Hardcore fans. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I guess they appreciate Attack of the Clones more because it gives you the story of the clones and and all that kind of stuff. And people like like Denzil, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, like the animated series of Clone Wars and stuff. Which for me, I always thought it was weird that I'm like, really, we're making this big deal out of one line in the original movie, so I thought it was really dumb. And then like we're getting this whole movie about one line, and I was just like, this is stupid. And so I just didn't like. Well, I take that back. I like the whole stadium scene at the end when all the Jedi showed up and just like wreaked havoc.
Yeah,
and that was awesome. But like everything else about it, I was like, this is just dumb. And then Rise of Skywalker, a lot of what you were saying, it's like. There was no build up at all for Palpatine. There was no
explanation.
No explanation.
Not really.
I did not want the Kylo Ren redemption story, and that's why I liked
with his Gap sweater. You like that?
I didn't like that at all.
I think it's an honest trailer comment.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that at all. And then just because again, and then the reason why I like Last Jedi, which is why that's more in the middle of the pack, is because I appreciated they're like, this is going to be its own thing, and he's going to be the big bad. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Let's stick to our guns. And it just they just threw all that away.
Right.
Yeah.
And then lastly, and this is just nitpicking, but that's fine. I'm going to nitpick a little bit. Is I was mad that Rey made out with him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, really?
Yeah.
After all the work Finn has been doing to have a relationship with Rey, and he gets all the thanks.
Yeah.
That is trash.
Oh, man.
I did not care for that at all.
Again,
Finn got friend zoned hardcore.
Yeah, he got friend zoned. That's not fair to Finn.
Not at all.
I think
Justice for Finn.
Such a cool character. Finn's
I think
awesome.
a lot of injustice was thrown towards Finn, especially because of Episode 8 and The Last Jedi, when they showed him and that other girl, the mechanic girl, and showed them having their own storyline. But then that accumulated to again nothing because of Episode 9.
Yeah.
So I think like Finn's like storyline was thrown all out of whack.
Yes, it
It'll be
was.
very interesting.
Well, even on that, like, I mean, like, I like The Last Jedi, except for that 30-minute debacle of that.
That's the only
Because
thing.
it led up to nothing.
Because even in The Last Jedi, it led up to nothing.
Yeah.
So I was like, what was the point of this 30-minute tangent? We could have had an hour and a half movie and gone out of here, and it would have been much better.
Yep.
Because there's a lot I liked about The Last Jedi. Part of that being, like, we're moving the story forward and we're not being hung up on the past and stuff. Because I thought Force Awakens was exactly what it needed to be.
Oh yeah.
I love Force Awakens. Yeah, I did think it was exactly what it needed to be, but it was still more of the same. I just hit my mic again. But that's why, like, I have it kind of lower. And I thought Last Jedi pushed the story forward to say, like, this is where we're going. And I'm like, yes, I want to see what happens. And then Rise of Skywalker came in and said, we're just going to kind of ignore this and retcon. I'm like, oh no, just messed it all up. So, and that's why I just kind of like, so that's where I was at.
I heard it put really well from someone. I think it was Ken Knapsack on one of the Smos channels. He said Force Awakens is like your favorite band going back on tour. And you go and see them, and they're like, here's our hits. You know, here's what's gonna get you in the stadium.
Yeah.
Here's what you love about Star Wars. Here's what you love about us. And you get back into it. You get excited. Last Jedi is like, okay, we're gonna take a seat. We're gonna try something different. Here's a little thing we've been working on. You know, see if you like it. You know, try something different. And then Rise of Skywalker is just like. A little bit mixture of everything and just kind of a mess.
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker made it very clear that they didn't have an overall plan.
Exactly.
And that's what Rise of Skywalker.
They can say they did, but they did not.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way you did, and you did not mention the Emperor in the first two movies.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. They had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah. It's like, well, how's he? Let's bring him back. Why? Well, you know, we need a villain. Well, how? It's magic. Force, you know, TV stand.
Well, that's what in the theater. I don't know if you guys heard me, but that's why me and Dom started busting out laughing at the opening call. It's like, we can't speak. And me and Dom like, it's gonna be that kind of movie. All right. Like, that's the explanation you got. The dead speak.
I remember seeing that. I was like, "No, you'll like this movie. Just like it. Please like it. Please be good. Please be good."
That's
you
right.
know.
And even like that. That's what I think kind of ruined The Last Jedi, Episode 8, because they had all this build up in The Force Awakens to Supreme Leader Snoke. Like, who is Supreme Leader Snoke? I can remember between those two movies, people are throwing out rumors like, it's Jar Jar Binks, or it's so and so, it's Darth Maul, or whatever. But then they show Snoke, and then they kill Snoke in a 10-minute period.
I think that was a direct response to, you know, here's what we think of your theories.
So then, again, like Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker just kind of had nothing to build off of. It's like, well, there was our villain, and now he's gone. So what do we do now?
He's in like one of those tanks like the aliens in Independence Day.
He's
just,
exactly.
You know.
Well, if you remember back to the starting scroll of the Rise of Skywalker, you see like clones of Snoke in the tube. So it's like supposedly saying that
he's been
Emperor
doing this.
Palpatine. Like,
he's always been doing it.
So I kind of see how they kind of tried to.
But still no
maybe.
build up.
No
There was
build-up,
nothing there to do that.
I don't like the way that it all ended.
Yeah. So here's our good buddy Pete Ramsey. Denzil. So he's on here. He says, 2 best movie in the entire series are the ones George Lucas wrote but not direct, being Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Agreed. He said, new trilogy, enjoy the new characters, but not having one voice, one director or writer overall led to a mess that they came up with. Return of Skywalker's people attempt to rewrite, The Last Jedi, which is very true. That's how we feel. It was they were trying to do that, and it was just ridiculous. And he goes on, the new trilogy, not overall story, too many voices trying to create it. Would have been better if Dave Filoni did all 3 of them.
I could not agree more.
I would agree.
That is spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is spot on, and that Ramsey, another huge Star Wars fanatic, and knows a lot. He's more read books and watches the Clone Wars and stuff like.
I have that on my watch list, by the way.
So,
Clone Wars?
Yeah, haven't watched it yet.
It's a must.
Yeah, watch Avatar first, though.
As we go up further on our list, I'll be explaining.
Okay.
So Pete's another one there. So here, thanks Pete for your input, because we know your input's valid because you actually have done intensive study on such a thing.
Nice.
So.
Respect.
Because we're Gary and I. This is why we needed someone like Denzil hearing Pete's voice. Because we're movie guys. We haven't dug in deep into some of the other stuff. Although, again, I bring this up to you guys all the time. The animated series that came out in the early 2000s of the Clone Wars, it was like a little Emmy series. Just 2 little DVDs. Phenomenal. And it bridges.
Oh, yeah?
No, this is
the one
a
you're talking
different
about?
one. But it bridges the 2. It bridges episode 2 and episode 3 a little bit. And so, it just gave this little sneak peek. And it's all you see Mace Windu. You see how
I can remember being a kid.
General Grievous and stuff. Oh man, that series was
I
great.
can remember as a kid, I would watch those as they came on Cartoon Network, and I'd be so disappointed at the fact that they were only 5 minutes long episodes. It's like whatever they showed there.
I think they were like 15 minutes, but they weren't, because they broke it up into a mini series. Yeah, because both, when you buy it on DVD, they're just 2 1-hour discs, 1-hour shows. So I think they broke them up in like 15 minutes to stretch it out.
Gotcha.
So then what they did, of course, I was born and raised in South Africa, so the way they did there in South Africa, they were 5-minute episodes.
Oh, okay.
Every other
it's
morning.
Like webisodes.
Like so it was torture, because I would watch it and be like, no.
I picture him like the kid in the Christmas Story waiting by the radio. Was you listening to Annie or something? He's like,
just wait for it.
We're gonna wait by the radio to get our Star Wars episode.
That's right.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes. Thank you, Pete. He says, "Well done, young Padawans." Thank you, sir.
Right on.
We're gonna do our best here. So I guess we'll continue. Go ahead, Denzil. Do your top
5 through 1.
Your top 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get this thing going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 5 was episode 4. We say that as the New Hope. At number 4, I have episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Okay.
At number 3, I have episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Number 2 is my number 2 top favorite one is The Force Awakens. Just because, I'll explain that here in just a minute. But
the band got back together.
Back together pretty much. My number 1 favorite one is The Clone Wars. And I like that movie so much because of the Clone Wars era. That's my favorite era in the entire Star Wars story. I mean, you have the Old Republic, supposedly happened before the Phantom Menace, but in terms of the 3 trilogies, the prequels, the original trilogy, and the sequels, my favorite era and all that is the Clone Wars. Because when you think of Star Wars, you want to think of these massive galactic battles that are taking place in space, they're taking place on different planets, taking place with
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yes, very much. So, when I think of Star Wars, you think of wars, not the trials and tribulations of 3 people. I think of Star Wars, I think of the Clone Wars, where it's millions of clones battling against armies and hordes of droids.
Yeah.
So episode 2 has started that, and at the very end of episode 2 you have the introduction of the clones, and you have all these Jedi rushing in to fight all these droids, and I was like, yes, it's so awesome. And then episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, it kind of brings that all to a close.
Yeah.
But then you get nothing in between that. So those movies were on their own, but when you add in the Clone Wars, the animated series, the one that's on Disney, on Disney Plus, the Clone Wars really like ties those two movies together and really ties in a lot of the other movies.
Right.
Like Solo's tied into it because of it. Rogue One's tied into it because of the Clone Wars, the animated series. So like, I feel like a sense of completion when it comes to the original trilogy and the prequels and Force Awakens because of the Clone Wars, the animated series, the Clone Wars.
Okay.
So my number one most favorite movie is the Clone Wars, just because it leads into my favorite era.
Yeah.
Wow. Why don't you tell us how you really feel?
Yeah.
I respect that.
prepared.
I do. I respect that.
Yeah, but the
to
thing
play.
is, like, I get it though, because that is one thing. Like, I did love that you brought up. Like, you think of wars, not trials and tribulations.
Yes.
Like, it's so true.
I like that,
And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, again, we're not talking about these movies on the list, but like, I like Rogue One so much because I'm like, it really is a war.
It is.
Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and so that's probably why I like that one so much. It was just, I guess, it was just like the. See, 'cause that's the thing. It's like I said, I like the ending when the clones actually show up, and then leading into that little Emmy series, and then like you see the end of it. So it's like, yeah, this whole thing's cool, but that's where I ended up having a little bit of issue. But that makes sense, especially like you said, it broke. I mean, I haven't seen the Clone Wars series that you're talking about, but I mean, I hear great things about it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I hear great things about it. I do need to check it out. And the reason why, and this is, and I don't know who's Ramsey, you might remember, but the reason why I didn't even bother with it is because I was telling Denzil this the other day. The Clone Wars movie that came out with the similar animation that was supposed to lead into that series.
Yeah.
That movie was trash.
I heard it was really bad.
It was really bad, and I did not like it.
See,
and so I didn't even care about the series after that. I was like, I'm not giving it a chance.
See, I didn't even realize that movie existed until you told me that you watched it.
Because it doesn't get talked about.
I never even. I just started watching the Clone Wars, like the episodes, season 1, episode 1, went all the way through season 7. Season 7 was just released earlier, like late last year.
Right.
So I immediately started watching all the way through the Clone Wars again to get to season 7. Season 7, bro, you need to see it.
Bro, I gotta see it. Yeah.
But you can't watch the rest. You can't watch that until you see all the other things that lead into it.
Yeah.
Because
check
it
it
just
out.
ties into episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It ties into Solo. You know, Darth Maul shows up at the end of that, and you're like, "What?
Right.
Where did he come from?" It explains that.
Does it?
It explains the entire storyline, Darth Maul. And I'll put this up there that we can talk about later if we want to. But I think Darth Maul should be where the series goes.
Oh yeah.
He should have been the very the very big villain in in the sequels.
Gotcha.
Right.
I think he should have been Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah. His look was incredible.
Which would have been amazing.
He reminded me of Kane from WWF.
Yes.
He reminded me of.
Yeah, but he was awesome. He stood, like, seriously, probably the best part of the Phantom Menace.
Oh, yeah.
The first one, too. Like,
No,
it was,
without that lightsaber.
yeah. 'Cause that's like Phantom Menace. Like, I have Phantom Menace low because I'm just like, personally, I like the pod racing. Maybe that's because maybe that's because I played the video game. You know, and I did. I loved it. Like, I was like, oh, look at this race. This is cool looking. And then, of course, the game came out in '64, and I pwned everybody. So I was like, pod racing is great. And then you know, other stuff happened. And then the end. So like, that was cool. So, all right, Gary, go ahead, man. What are your top here?
So, number 4, going Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
You know, great ending to the original trilogy, but it's number 4 on me. Number 3 is Last Jedi. I love this movie. I will defend it to my dying day. I rewatch it often. I love just what they were doing with the story. I love that they tried something different. I get upset when people say they don't like it, but they also didn't like Force Awakens because it was too similar. I love everything they did. No, you can't. And fun fact, the first conversation Efren and I ever had was about The Last Jedi. We're at a youth event. And I had seen the movie that day. He had a Star Wars shirt on. I said, "Did you see it?" "Yep." "Did you like it?" "Yep." "Heard a lot of people, I liked it too. Heard a lot of people don't like it." Efren goes, "Yeah, those are people in their mom's basements." And that's when I met Efren.
You last 11.
Yeah. This would be number 2 if it wasn't for the Finn and I don't remember the girl's name.
Rose.
Rose. That whole storyline where they go to that casino planet, it keeps me from putting this at number 2. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
It brings the movie to a screeching halt. Everything else about Last Jedi I love. Number 2 is A New Hope. Great movie, fun, you know, insanely rewatchable. where it brings in one of the coolest characters of all time, Han Solo, and number 1, Empire Strikes Back. Not only is it my favorite Star Wars movie, it's one of my favorite movies. This is where I feel like Star Wars went from, okay, this is a fun, space movie, to holy cow, this is a serious, like, intense franchise. Love everything, and I think it is pretty much a perfect movie. Love Empire Strikes Back. So we got Return of the Jedi, Last Jedi, New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
So
Cool.
go through my rankings.
Well, I'll go ahead and speed through mine because I know we got other stuff we got to talk about, and then y'all can stab me later if y'all need to.
I'll meet you in your office.
That's right. So
I know what you are.
So 5, 4, 3. Okay. Anyway, so I got to figure out where the crap I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So next would be Star Wars: A New Hope. And so that's what I put there at number 5. Yes, I loved it, but where I had the, I'm not like some people where, I'll explain later, but not so some people, I didn't grow up with it. So I was going to watch all 3.
Yeah.
So I would have Star Wars next, and then after that, I would have Revenge of the Sith. I love this movie. I just absolutely love Revenge of the Sith. Thought it was fun. Told the story it needed to tell. Still had some cheesy stuff in it, but it was just a blast for me. And then I put Empire Strikes Back at number 2, and then I have Return of the Jedi at number 1 for whatever. And so honestly, for me, like, again, as I watch these movies, when I watched all 3, I don't know if it's because, again, I watched them like one night, 3 nights in a row. When Last Jedi came in, I was just like, this whole thing was just amazing. Like, I just felt like Return of the Jedi just brought it all together, and I was like, this is great, and I loved it. I loved the final battle with Emperor and Darth and everything that Luke did, and even though Luke was like, it's my dad, I gotta save him and all this, and even as a kid, I'm like, this is hitting hard. Like, I like this. So I liked it a lot, and so that's why I have it up there. That's part of the reason I have it up there. I guess it's just that. But I think what's funny is that you can kind of see, like, when we were younger, whichever trilogy we came into first, that's where we see where our rankings are.
Yeah.
That's what I think is pretty cool.
That's very interesting.
I'd be interested though to see like where if your rankings would change at all if you saw the Clone Wars animated series.
I will let you know if that happens because I plan to watch it. I don't know why I said that so dramatic. I will let you know if that happens, Sonny.
I would be interested to see if your rankings. I wouldn't imagine that they changed that much or that drastically because of like where you guys grew up and where you guys like were first introduced into what series you were first introduced into it. But I would be interested to see if like even if the Clone Wars has moved up from your least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be weird, but I'd have to watch it to see if that's if that'd be the case. But again, I mean, I gotta watch it. So I don't know. Maybe it would change, but it is. But which is hard. Just that first chunk of Attack of the Clones. That's just hard. Like sitting here and okay, we're chasing this bounty hunter. Oh, now we're in some secret place where they're building clones for us. What? And it's just
watching the love story unfold of
exactly.
Padme using the Force to pull a pear across the table. It's so cheesy.
I'm not a big Natalie Portman fan.
Great.
Yeah, anyway.
I think that's one reason why I don't like the prequels. Is 'cause of her. I'm not a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
I won't ask you about Thor then.
Yeah.
Different movie.
Different conversation. So those are our rankings. Let us know what you guys think of that. And I was going to pull up and show you guys to remind you all, but because I don't have a second screen, I can't do it. This is what happens when you're a rookie mistakes. So, but if you really want to know, just rewind it. then you'll be able to see what we got. Then you can do that. So I'm sorry, I didn't think that part through. I had the slides ready because I was making them up as we were talking, and now I'm like, I don't have a second screen to make this happen. So,
or we can restate our least and most favorites. Just to see how
just the bottom and the top.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Go ahead, Denzil. Good.
All right, so my least favorite is the episode 9. The last one.
Okay, yeah,
Rise of Skywalker. And then most favorite is episode 2, The Clone Wars.
All right. So my least favorite was episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And then number 1 was Return of the Jedi. And Gary?
Least favorite, Attack of the Clones. Number 1, favorite, Empire Strikes Back.
There we go. And then just so we know, Bubble Tea says, I don't have the least favorite.
Okay.
So,
Bubble Tea.
Respect.
They're all amazing. Yes, you're correct.
Star Wars, yes.
Yeah. Do you know Bubble Tea?
So no, I didn't.
I think that's Bryson from the Crossing Youth Group. I'm not sure. Bryson, is that you?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
I'm not
anyway.
sure. I'm not sure that is.
For now, then we just made a new friend. Hi,
Yeah,
Bubble Tea.
Bubble
I
Tea.
know. We'll see. What's up? So going on, you guys may have heard of the rumor about this Disney trilogy, which the Disney trilogy would be Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, which we've already kind of dug into. There's a rumor going around that there's a chance that they're going to not make this not canon. And I was reading, I think it was on comicbook.com, I was reading, and they're saying that they were going to do this whole, like, well, that's an alternate universe thing that happened because of something. Maybe you know, Denzil, because you can dig into it. There's something about, like, the Sith have this room of mirrors where they can jump in and out of different dimensions or something like that. If you know about that, please let us know.
Like Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, this was one dimension, and he tried to take it over, and so it's a different emperor. I don't know. Okay. So, like, they're thinking, like, this is the rumor that might be what be happening, so they can make that not canon, and then try to make the trilogy that people actually wanted. So, what are y'all thoughts there?
I'm torn on it because, you know, if we wanted to make Rise of Skywalker not canon and redo that, I'm all for that, right? But I love the first two, so I'm a little torn, you know. Yeah. So
I would say that if they were to keep one of them canon, make that The Force Awakens, and then the other two could not be canon. I'll be all right with that. And that's just because.
How dare you?
The Last Jedi. I mean, it is my number 2 most favorite. The Last Jedi, The Last Jedi is my number 2 most favorite. But the way that is just, it almost feels like you could do without it. Like, I feel like it could be not considered canon just because it forces us to go into episode 9, which, in all honesty, makes almost no sense in a lot of the storyline.
Yeah. Well, I think what you said earlier, too, makes sense. It's like the Return of the Last Jedi is worse because of Rise of Skywalker. Right. Because like, I think we like it because we can look at it on its own and from Force Awakens because we're going in a direction where, like, we like the direction it's going. But since it didn't go that way, and Rise of Skywalker happened, it does make Last Jedi a little bit worse.
I think Rise of Skywalker hurts not only Last Jedi but Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
With that moment with Darth just throwing him, just let that be it. But no,
The pinnacle point of Palpatine. Like, that was the end of Palpatine. That was the end. Again, if you watch the Clone Wars, you'll see, like, how much he planned and orchestrated, and how much he was a part of the Clone Wars and droids, and how he.
You know how cool it would have been if Kylo shows up, realizes it's Palpatine in the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, and just kills him.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome. That would have made the movie so much better. Anyway.
Yeah, it would have made the movie so much better. Yeah, it would have been so good.
But back to whether or not it should be canon. If they made episode 8 and 9, Rise of Skywalker and the Last Jedi, if they made those not canon, that would then open it up for Darth Maul to come back as the main villain, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they had to do something. They had to do something. I just don't understand why. It just doesn't make sense why they did that. Like if you're gonna have, I mean, I guess just proves the point. They really had no idea what they were doing. Because if they knew they were going to have J.J. Abrams come back and finish it, then they should have at least had him write the Last Jedi. Like, he should have at least wrote, even if he didn't direct, at least the one wrote it so you can have continuity through it. Or at least, like, because this is why, I feel like we always come back to this, but like with Marvel, like, the reason why Marvel worked is because you had Kevin Feige up top saying, here's where we're going, here's what we're doing. He gave the directors freedom to do certain things, but he said, here are the certain things that have to be in there because we have to continue the story. And they didn't do that. And with this Disney trilogy. So if they go back, like, I'm torn because it's like I said, I did like Force Awakens, did Last Jedi. But if you try to come back and then try to retcon again an entire trilogy to try to do something else, first of all, I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right, I guess. It just feels like now you're just trying too hard to please fans. Like, you should. This is where it's like, you should have done your homework to begin with. And so I don't like that.
Done it right the first time.
Yeah, and I don't like that. But then at this point, you already have Harrison Ford, who's completely done.
He's
with these. He's done. So it's not going to happen. I mean, rest her soul. Princess Leia's no longer with us. Carrie Fisher's no longer with us. And then Luke Skywalker. I'm sitting using
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Best Joker ever, too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But Mark Hamill is also done with these things. Like, I mean, would he really? Unless they wrote something awesome where they continue Luke's story, but I don't know if he'd come back.
Or just continue the story of Rey, but like fix where maybe she's not a Palpatine. Maybe do something in the next trilogy or something where it's more about her and Poe and Finn. Continue that. I mean, the movies had problems, but those characters are great.
Right.
Continue their story, but fix some things in the movie that you can do, not retcon everything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the end thing right now with movies where it's like you take a franchise, but no, these didn't matter. We're gonna make this now. It's like.
Yeah. So and speaking of like prequels and stuff, here's Dave Peters, who's a former professor, great friend of mine. Did you have Peters for anything?
I did not.
You did not. That's a shame. Lucas lost the ability to write in a tragic accident fueled by his addiction to CGI. so true. It's so
great.
true. He went
great.
CGI crazy when
he
he went
did.
back and redid the originals and then all that. So it's very true. He says Rise of Skywalker was noble, but fraught in the ultimately doomed attempt to undo the generalized horror of The Last Jedi. So there you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So tell you, man, Star Wars. You want to get
I'm
people
telling
talking?
you, hey.
Talking about Star Wars, man. And they'll tell you their opinion, but it's true, and it is. It's all over the place.
So it makes it fun.
Exactly. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
But it's true. This is how people feel. Like they're all over the place with this series because it's. I mean, people generally love the original trilogy. But the prequels, it's back and forth. It's weird. It honestly, like I said, kind of depends. Like, well, there's a generation of kids out there who grew up with the prequels, so they're gonna love the prequels more and stuff. And then like now, like my kids, like I'm sure Sayla will love the Disney trilogy because of Rey and stuff. She's upset. That's what got her into it. So she'll probably love that more than us older people at this point. But it's just there'll always be those arguments because those who are older are like, well, here's where the story was going. Those who are younger are like, well, this is where I picked up and I thought this was great, and it made sense.
Yeah,
So you're always gonna have that. But if they, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm almost like it's what's done is done. That's almost what I feel.
Just leave it be. Let it be.
I do if like I said, I mean, I know they probably can't do just one of them to still be canon and remove the other two from canon without. I feel like that's probably not going to happen. If they make them not canon, it's all three that's not going to be canon.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I hate to see that because of how I feel towards The Last Jedi. Or The Force Awakens. Sorry, not The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens. It's such like it. The band is getting back together.
Yeah.
Showcases like the Star Wars coming back into the modern world. Shows like they have the modern CGI, they have the modern technology that they can use, and they could have done so many cool things with it had they continued it and had a good storyline. But again, I just think the last two movies were just they took what could have been an amazing attempt, an amazing thing, just because of having two directors do it.
Yeah, but there's also the rumor, and what do you guys think of this? There's also the rumor that George Lucas already has written, or at least in his mind, the trilogy that should have been 7, 8, 9.
That interests me. Yeah.
So if they go that route and bring him back in, would you be down for it?
Oh yeah, let George Lucas tell his story. That can be interesting. Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean,
I'll have to see.
It'd still be weird.
I can't say that I'm immediately. Oh yeah, let's do it. I'm not like that at all. I would say I would have to just step my foot in a little bit first.
But at the same time, I don't
see it.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. But at the same time, as we already said, I don't know how he would do it because those actors aren't. I mean,
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that?
I mean, So.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you just put out in a book or something.
And that's again why I say
be.
you could have if you could leave The Force Awakens in canon, but then get rid of the other two.
Yeah.
Then you could. Then you don't have the.
Yeah.
You'd have to do some crazy writing.
Yeah.
To get rid of Leia and Han Solo. He's already gone.
Yeah.
Force Awakens.
But you don't. Maybe you wouldn't have to do crazy writing if you're able to. Like if you kept Force Awakens, right? And then you just because Luke's still around. Maybe maybe you can convince Mark Hamill to come back, and you just kind of focus on Rey and Luke's direction.
Yeah.
And then ultimately having to come head to head with Kylo Ren because Kylo was his was his Padawan. So maybe more of a collision course of them three.
Maybe,
and then kind of not worry about
everything else
so much about Rebels and stuff, or if you do, maybe do what they did in Rise of Skywalker, where Carrie Fisher's daughter was a kind of a stand-in or something. Maybe they can work something out
like that,
and just kind of push it that way. Because if you keep Force Awakens, Han's already gone, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, he's like,
and then so maybe they could do something like that. But even then, to come in and say, okay, we're going to ignore these two. But then again, Jurassic World said we're just going to ignore. The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 like it never happened. We're going from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World. So, but there was a lot of time in between. That's the difference.
Difference. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I like the idea of, because I know they had that moment at the end of Last Jedi, but Luke and Kylo never really getting that closure.
Yeah.
You know, that could be pretty cool. Like they're both Force ghosts.
Yeah.
You know, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Rey's like stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
You know.
What bothers me about like them all becoming Force ghosts too is like because supposedly Qui-Gon Jinn, like you see through the Clone Wars, the anime series, like Qui-Gon Jinn somehow becomes like a Force ghost, and he directs Yoda, and that's how Yoda learns how to become a Force ghost, and on Dagobah.
Oh, okay.
And then he teaches that to Obi-Wan Kenobi in his last movie. There, he disappears fighting Vader. So, and then Luke then goes and learns that from Yoda, or when he disappears after episode 6. He then disappears, and they can't find him in Force Awakens because he's learning how to become a Force ghost. But then Kylo Ren just somehow he knows. That is another big part that didn't make sense to me, because supposedly becoming a Force ghost or becoming one with the Force or with the that aspect of the Force, that part was like supposedly very hard to learn, to come across. But then Kylo Ren just somehow is able to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily agree with that either.
But there was a whole lot of that in the Disney trilogy.
Yeah.
Like Finn just knew how to wield the lightsaber and like fight decently. Rey just knew how to do everything. She knew how to mind control the troop. Like there's a whole lot of things about it. Like, it was like, what is this?
Magic.
Yeah.
Force.
So
there was a lot of that.
Force.
The Force. Yeah. There we go.
So back to
Sorry. Welcome to the show, Denzil. And we're back.
So back to like the original rumor of whether or not they should be canon. I would be all right if they decide to have the sequels as not canon.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
I think if they do it, they need to let some time go by.
Yeah.
Let some time go by and then come back and retcon the whole thing if you need to.
Yeah.
Which leads me to kind of our next portion, like where do you think they should go next? I guess I'll go ahead and start this off. Like, I think they should just focus on the other. I guess it's still rumor. I don't know if they're actually still doing it, but to focus on the Old Republic, the Knights of the Old Republic and stuff. Like, I say, what's next? Don't worry about this trilogy right now. I say just go down that path. Give us some of that, because a lot like what Denzil was saying, like why he loves Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars and stuff. Like years later, we're going back to these stories that we hear of, and then they're digging into it. Well, if you're going to do this on Knights of the Old Republic or whatever the High Republic stuff like that, just go back to that and do that then, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah. The Jedi were in their prime.
Yeah, Jedi were in their prime. Yeah. And if you played any of the Knights of the Old Republic games. Did you? You did?
I played a couple.
You played a couple. I played like one or two. So like, they were great in kind of the story and stuff. So they're able to delve. And there's tons of stories they could tell.
Yeah.
They could easily do a trilogy or whatever off that. So I think that's where I say just focus on that, and then don't worry about this until later on. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many stories to tell. There's such a big galaxy and all these different things going on. Maybe the near future is stuff like The Mandalorian, stuff like Rogue One. Yeah. Tell those stories. I mean, heck, we've been talking about an Obi-Wan series for how long? Or a movie for how long? Just do stuff like that.
Or also talking about the Darth Maul series.
And Vader.
And these rumors about Jon Favreau taking over and doing stuff, I'm all for that. That
Especially
guy,
after Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian was incredible. I can't wait for season 2. But yeah, just more stuff like that. Explore different things going on in that world. Don't just stay with this.
Yeah. And the different fallouts of how everybody else is reacting to things.
And if down the road you want to pick up where Rise of Skywalker maybe left off, and because I do love the characters in those movies, tell more of their story, and maybe through that fix what the issues we had with Rise of Skywalker and stuff like that. I'd say do that instead of retcon everything. This is focus on
maybe get more behind the scenes of what happened to make those movies make more sense.
Yeah,
kind of like what you're saying, like Clone Wars. It makes Attack of the Clones make more sense.
Yeah.
I think I would say it's two-part. Like if they keep it canon, I would very much like to see more stories of before the prequels. I'd like to see like the Knights of the Old Republic, the High Republic, the Jedi in the Prime. Let's see, or even like during the Clone Wars, or even like immediately after the Clone Wars stories of certain clones, because I keep going back to the Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars, like you
Denzil likes the Clone Wars.
you get attached to certain like particular clones that worked with like Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
Like Commander Cody, you see him in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You get a lot of his backstory. I like to see stories about like during wartime, about the clones. So I'd like to see if they keep the sequels canon as a part of this whole storyline. I'd like to see more of the Knights of the Old Republic and the High Republic. If they decide to mix the sequels and knock those out of canon, I would like to see something more in terms of after the original trilogy, leading up to, I guess, what
like
they could
in between
do.
Jedi and Force Awakens, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah,
So
that's a lot of stories to tell.
telling more.
That's where Mandalorian's in.
Right.
It's in that.
Telling more to like the Mandalorian stories, telling more of like Darth Maul, because again, I think Darth Maul is such a powerful character, and like you
And
don't.
everyone loves him.
Oh yeah.
Right.
He was awesome.
Like they did away with him in Episode 1, but then he comes back in Solo. It's explained in the Clone Wars, and then you see more of it. You see like where it could go
Right.
in the end of Solo, and in the end of the Clone Wars. It's like I want to see more of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Which I'd be okay with that, because right now, because they brought him at the end of Solo, now it's kind of like, so where'd he go?
Yeah.
Like, where is he? Like,
You
what
have
happened to him? Like,
that
yeah,
story.
but a whole area.
You
to
have
go
an
into.
open-ended book there to like really go into the depth of who,
That would be cool.
what Darth Maul is, and what his story is.
Especially for people like me who hadn't seen Clone Wars. Like, I knew that he was alive because I just asked him, like, whatever, because I want to know what's going on. But, like, but even the fact that he has that power, he's running like the end of Solo, like he's in charge of stuff, and he's causing some problems. Like, yeah, let's hear more about how all that kind of stuff pans out. And even I forget Solo's girlfriend in that movie. I forget the character's name, but like, you know, like what happened to her?
And she
Like,
works for the Crimson Tide, which is led by
She's from Alabama?
exactly. So like, there's a lot you could tell there in her interaction with that.
So yeah. So to repeat what I said there, like if they keep it canon, I want to see more of the Knights of the Old Republic,
Yeah.
the High Republic before the prequels. If they decide to nix it, get rid of canon, I want to see what they could do with during the Mandalorian area, during like, after the Last Jedi, or the last one. I don't know.
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, but you talking
a lot
about
of
the very
movies.
last one? The 9, episode 9?
Episode 6.
Yeah, so Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between
A lot of
episode 6
movies.
and
I know
episode
there
7.
is. Yeah, and the way he released them. But at the episode, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to tell there, and I just don't. And I'm with you. Like, there's plenty of other stories. We can get away from the 3 people with their problems. Like, it just start like you can literally go anywhere. We just talked about a few, and people who know more Star Wars and people be like, well, there's this. I mean, you can't even go. I mean, they introduced Knights of Ren in Rise of Skywalker. Where the heck did that come from?
They just
Like, yeah, so talking,
there.
talking to my fellow Star Wars nerds who've read books and stuff, they're like, "Oh, that's this whole." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Well, where was that in the movies?"
That was the movie.
So yeah, give us the Knights of Ren stuff, like, because that stuff sounds awesome from what I could hear. You know?
In all of the above situations, though, I am optimistic, but cautiously optimistic.
That's fair.
Because we expected high things of the sequels,
Yeah,
and it turned out to be wow. So you did that with it.
yeah, that's right.
Nice. So I like to. I want to see what they can do, but also and cautiously. All right, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it is very much the here are the pearls known as Star Wars,
Yeah.
and then throw to the swine. That's really what it felt like. And we're done here. It was like, no. So
It's like, yeah. Ugh.
yeah, so that sounds good. I think those are good ideas. You know, again, they should just hire us and
Yeah,
let us fix
we'll do
it.
it. Hey,
There's so many things. that I
Disney,
feel
give
like
us a call.
Us 3 can fix.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, and we have people that we can bring in to continue to consult.
Pete,
That's right.
Pete Ramsey there.
That's right, Pete
Join us.
Ramsey and Dave Peters. We can bring
Peters.
them in.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine named Eric who digs into all the Star
Heck,
Wars
why don't we
books
bring
and
in
stuff.
Bubble Tea?
That's right.
He'll bring in some optimism
That's
here.
right. Just not Daniel, because Daniel is like.
Oh no, Daniel, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I love how that's the first comment we get on our Star Wars episode. Oh, this will be this is
this is where it's going.
this is gonna be good.
That's right. So,
Oh, man.
all right, so cool. So thank you guys so
stuff.
much for being here. As always, leave comments, continue to respond, and talk Star Wars. And Star Wars will never be a dead topic because
No.
there will always be Star Wars.
Yep.
Mandalorian Season 2 is coming out.
Can't
Again,
wait.
we've talked about rumors of stuff that's coming out. That Disney's not going to let this thing die.
No.
So there will always be times to talk about Star Wars in the future.
Obi-Wan has been confirmed.
Yes, Obi-Wan.
Okay, all right.
true.
Yeah, bring it on.
I hope they do the Darth Vader thing. That's another thing I hope they do. Because I would love to see Prime Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be sick.
And if you like talking about Prime Darth Vader too, like you don't really see the power that Darth Vader has in the original trilogy.
No,
because you just see him like Force choke. You get a glimpse of Darth Vader's power in the video game
Force Unleashed.
Not Force Unleashed, the last one that just came out.
Yeah. Fallen Order.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the very end of that, if you guys have played that or not, then you know what I'm talking about. Gary, I know.
But Rogue One.
That's what I was gonna say. Give me more of that.
Yeah, Rogue One. You get a small snippet too.
Holy cow!
I'd love to see an episode, like a movie or a series dedicated to showing the true raw power of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so that'd be good. So, as I said, there will always be Star Wars to talk about. This will definitely not be the last video of it. I'm sure we'll have Denzil back and maybe some others.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for joining us, Denzel.
Thanks for having me.
May the Force be with you.
Sorry. We had to do it.
We had to.
May the Force be with all of you. Make sure to check out Denzil's YouTube channel. If you look on our channel page, he is one of our featured channels, but there's also a link down in the description. You can check that out. Check out his videos. He does awesome work. And you'll see some of us on his videos. So check that out. Also give him a subscribe. Give him some more followers. So he can keep building and getting recognized for what he does. Because, hey, he will also be looking for some side work on videos things. Because he does a lot of stuff here for us at the church and works with us, which is awesome. But he likes to branch out because he's a creative person. So give him opportunities to be creative.
And you guys have always been guests on my channel as well, so you guys will be there in the future again, I'm sure.
Hey.
And, we'll have our crazy shenanigans.
Keyword, shenanigans.
I said absolutely.
Oh!
There's one.
Yes.
Darn it. One of these days we're going to get through a show without saying that word.
When it's not.
Sorry. For the first 4 or 5 episodes.
It's like absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to kick
Absolutely.
I've even stopped saying it in everyday life. I'm like, yes, indeed.
All right, so thank you guys so much for watching.
See ya.
Have a good day.